Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Joshua Fredenberg, and I am a national speaker, author, and president of the Circle of Change Leadership Conference. For the past 15 years, I have been traveling the country as a national speaker on a variety of different colleges and universities all across our nation, specializing in topics that revolve around leadership development, diversity and inclusion, student success, and career readiness. And as I've traveled the country, it was about 10 years ago when I was living in Long Beach, California, and I was coming home from a morning jog that I do every single morning on the beach. And as I sat down in my chair, I had this premonition, or I had this inspiration. And the inspiration was to pursue a doctoral degree in organizational leadership. Now, the challenge with this particular doctoral degree is in years past, when I received my MA and I received my bachelor's degree, I was a traditional student. I went to campus every week. I got to involve with my campus community. I talked to a variety of students in my classes, and I loved it, and it was absolutely amazing. But in order to pursue this doctoral degree, I was going to have to be what they call a virtual college student. And the reason I was going to have to become a virtual college student is because, number one, I was traveling the country consistently. I had a lot of commitments that would enable me to be at school every single week. And then I had a variety of other family things that were going on at that time as well. And so I embraced the virtual student. I embraced this new experience, and I began to pursue my doctoral degree as a virtual college student. Now, one of the things I learned really quickly is there's a difference between a traditional student and a virtual student. In essence, I learned really quickly that as a virtual student, I had less time to interact with my professor and my classmates. I learned right away as a virtual student, there was less campus involvement. There was less involvement as far as in clubs and a variety of other things that happen on a daily basis on my campus. I realized that I had less access to professors. When I was a traditional student, I could talk to my professors immediately. But as a virtual student, sometimes it would take 2 and 3 days before I got a response to one simple question. I learned that I had greater responsibility as it relates to my schedule, because now I had to create the right time, I had to create the right moment, not only to do my studying, but ultimately to finish team projects and do the things that were necessary in order to thrive and succeed as a virtual college student. I learned that group projects were going to be a little tougher, because I wasn't going to get to pick in class and get to meet a variety of people to determine who I want to work with. I was just given a group of people that I never met, and I had to figure it out and work with them to do a great class project. And then I had a variety of other complex situations that came up just because I was a virtual college student. And these and an array of other things is why I found that it's so important that if we're going to thrive and succeed as students during this time of COVID-19, not only do we got to be effective at being a student in general, but we got to understand what it takes to be effective as a virtual college student. In essence, I believe you have your potential. I believe you have the greatness. I believe you have the ability to do great and incredible things. But with all the things happening in our world today, and with classes moving more towards virtual or hybrid learning, it's critically important that we understand the difference and we make the adjustments that are necessary in order to go from a traditional student and to begin to thrive as a virtual college student. And it's one of the reasons I love this quote so much, because I think it's really powerful. It says, online students can be better retained, experience greater course satisfaction, and learn more in less time with greater ease and confidence with online courses that is linked to an academic support system. I love this quote because it reminds us that not only is there a difference between traditional learning and virtual learning, but if we're going to thrive, if we're going to succeed as students, we got to make the necessary adjustments that are necessary in order to ensure that we are positioned for student success, leadership success, personal success, and career success as a virtual college student. And it's based on this experience and based on this reality that I want to share with you one tip from my keynote that I share for virtual college students all across the country. And the tip is really simple. If you're going to be effective at becoming a virtual college student that thrives and succeeds and positions yourself for success, then you have to be what I call adaptable. In essence, you have to be effective at adapting to different people, different situations, and different seasons of your life. I have found that people that thrive virtually, people that thrive when they make the transition from a traditional student to a virtual student, are able to do so because they're able to adapt, they're able to adjust, they're able to modify, they're able to change their habits, they're able to change their way of doing things, they're able to change their communication, they're able to change the way in which they even deal with the campus community. They're able to make these modifications that are necessary in order to position themselves for ultimately academic, personal leadership, and career success. And it's one of the reasons I love this quote so much. And I think it's so powerful, and it relates so much to us that are virtual college students that are looking to thrive and succeed. And the quote says this: it says, all failure is failure to adapt. All success is successful adaptation. In essence, what the quote is letting us know is that if we fail to adapt, we're going to fail. But if we are able to adapt successfully, then we're going to be successful. And so one of the things I discovered, if I was going to be successful as a virtual college student, if I was going to thrive, if I was going to succeed, then I was going to have to make some adjustments. I was going to have to modify my behavior. I was going to have to make some changes in the way in which I embraced, or the way in which I actively engage with my campus community. And because of my adjustments, because of my modifications, because of my changes, I was able to position myself for success and ultimately attain a doctoral degree in organizational leadership. And one of the stories I love to share with people that I think is pretty relevant to today is a story that happened to me about 3 months ago. For 15 years that I shared, I was traveling the country, I was speaking on different campuses, and I absolutely love that and can't wait to go back to that experience. But on March 12, 2020, I got a phone call, and the coordinator said, we're going to have to cancel your speaking engagement. And she said, the reason we're going to cancel your speaking engagement is because of COVID-19. From that moment, there was cancellation after cancellation after cancellation, where all of a sudden, every speech that I had from March to ultimately to June literally got canceled because there were no more in-person presentation. At that moment, I was frustrated. I was a little anxious. I had uncertainty. I had fear and a variety of other things that were going on in my mind. But I remembered this experience in my doctoral program. When I made the transition from in-person to virtual, I had to adapt. If you can repeat after me, someone say, adapt. And ultimately what I was able to do is I was able to adapt. I was able to pivot from being in person to virtual. And so one of the things I did, as you can see on the screen, is I got a green screen, I got cameras, I got lights, I got a new laptop. I did everything I could to provide the greatest presentation possible so that ultimately I could still make an impact. I could still live my dream. I could still be an impactful speaker. I could still help people reach their fullest potential virtually, although I was not able to do it in person. And the lesson that I learned from this entire experience was really simple, that if you're going to succeed in life, but more importantly, if you're going to succeed as a virtual college student, you may have been used to traditional school for your entire life. But now with COVID-19 and all these other challenges, it's pivoted. But again, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. If you can adapt, if you can adjust, if you can be flexible, if you can change some things, if you can make some modifications in the way you engage your campus community, not only do I believe you will overcome the challenges, not only do I believe you will thrive, but I believe you will succeed as well with this small tip: adapt, adapt, and one more time, adapt. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to hear this one tip as it relates to being a virtual student leader. I have a lot more ideas. I have a lot more solutions, a lot more principles, and a lot more things that I would love to share with you. And if your campus, if your organization, if your university would like me to come in and share more of these tips as it relates to effectively thriving and succeeding as a virtual student leader, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. My information is located on the screen. I would love to work with you. And until next time, keep shining, keep making an impact, and keep doing what is necessary in order to grow, evolve, and reach your fullest potential as a virtual college student. Thank you so much. Peace.